Butterflies have flitted through our lives as everlasting symbols of beauty. With their striking colours, ranging from iridescent to earthy, and their stunning patterns, they are a constant source of artistic inspiration. But behind such splendour lies some very ordinary behaviours. Behaviours which enable them to adapt and survive in an extraordinary life cycle. Universally admired as they are, it's easy to forget that all butterflies start life as something less attractive. Life cycles are the way living things move from generation to generation. The young bear very little resemblance to the adult form. And how that wriggling worm-like creature becomes a thing of such delicate beauty is one of nature's most remarkable achievements. Courtship usually lasts more than 30 minutes, while coupling can take up to several hours. Then the female lays eggs, and more eggs. These eggs develop and hatch, usually within weeks. Out come caterpillars, which eat and eat and eat. When done with eating, they pupate, and finally change into the glorious creatures we know so well. After mating, the female must find the perfect place to lay eggs. Caterpillars are fussy eaters, so the female must lay her eggs on plants her offspring will be able to eat. Sensors in the female's legs, antennae and abdomen tell her what kind of plant she has landed on. They do this by detecting chemical compounds in the leaves. Some eggs are laid in clumps. Some in isolation. Others line the thin tendrils of vines. The eggs are so tiny they're hard to spot, which is a good thing, because predators find them difficult to see. Even so, many eggs don't survive. Here, an army of ants has ventured into a veritable supermarket, where they tear the eggs from the leaf and carry their booty off to the nest. So, another way butterflies ensure at least a few eggs survive is to lay lots and lots of them. In some cases, more than 1,000 will be laid by one female. Depending on the species, eggs generally hatch within a week. What pops out is a tiny little caterpillar. caterpillar is not just an amazing feeding machine, it is also an incredible grower. If a human baby grew at the same rate, it would be roughly the size of an elephant in just weeks. Caterpillars have a pair of jaws or mandibles, specially designed to slice. Like all insects, caterpillars have 6 legs. But it's hard to keep control of a body like this with 6 tiny legs. So they also have prolegs. These aren't true legs, rather they have a sucker-like design with tiny hooks. Other critical body parts that help with control are the anal claspers. As the name suggests, these are at the very back. Newly hatched larvae are just a few millimeters long. Caterpillars can't expand at the rate they do without regularly shedding their tough skin. And each time it sheds, a caterpillar moves into a new growth phase called an instar. Most do this around 4 or 5 times. Caterpillars are slow movers, and so very vulnerable to attack. To try and deter predators, they use many strategies like hairs, spikes, or bright colors. The hairs make the creature look most unappetizing. Spikes and bright colors advertise danger, beware, because in nature, creatures with these features are often poisonous. Another defense is invisibility. These are caterpillars of the lemon migrant butterfly, so called because the adult form is yellow. Pupation is the stage where the animal completely rearranges its form, from caterpillar to butterfly. While this happens, the butterfly-to-be is mostly immobile. So its best method of defense is to blend into its surroundings. The pupae is like a suspended casing, attached in one of 2 ways. It either hangs from one point, originally the anal claspers of the caterpillar, or it will be connected to the twig in 2 places. First at the anal claspers, and using a kind of belt wrapped around the upper half of its body. Butterfly experts call this belt a silk girdle. The caterpillar prepares for pupation by spinning a silk pad around the twig. This time-lapse shows 8 hours in the life of a pupating monarch caterpillar. Once a caterpillar has attached itself for pupation, it hangs quietly. Not much happens on the surface, but beneath the skin, dramatic changes are in progress. After many hours, the caterpillar begins to stretch in a final burst of energy. Pressure builds in the skin just behind the head. Eventually, the skin breaks, peeling back to reveal a totally new form. It's a chrysalis. Now comes the final and most dangerous part of the transformation. It must shake away the old skin. Like a high-wire circus performer without the safety of a net, the chrysalis must slide that skin past its clasper. Over the next few hours, the chrysalis hardens, taking on its final shape and color. And that form can be really weird and wonderful. Fortunately, some can still move just a little, sufficient enough to shake off unwelcome visitors, like this ant. At this point, you can often see the key body parts of the adult butterfly. When the butterfly finally emerges after many weeks, it cannot fly. It is a vulnerable time for the new arrival, a sitting target with no defenses. The butterfly hangs on for dear life and uses gravity to help pump its wings full of blood. And it must do something very quickly to fix its proboscis, or feeding tube. When it emerges from the pupae stage, the proboscis is actually like a tube, split in two. The halves must be fused together so that the butterfly can feed. The large compound eyes will serve to detect fast movements in objects. When the monarch chrysalis becomes transparent, it's a sure sign a butterfly is about to come out. The profound changes which take place during the life cycle we've explored are what confer such an evolutionary advantage to the butterfly. While the butterfly is engineered to roam and reproduce, the caterpillar is engineered to eat and grow. Because each stage is so specialized, the butterfly improves the potential for its existence. The adult needs to travel as far as it can to find a mate. Being light and designed for flight means the butterfly maximizes this stage of the cycle. The change of lifestyle also calls for a change in diet. Butterflies need high-energy food sources to fuel their flights, and the sugar-rich nectar from flowers is ideal. And they get to use that proboscis, which has been fused together. It acts like a straw, and once feeding is done, it coils away like a spring. Feeding exclusively on glucose means butterflies can keep up their high-energy activities, but it comes at a price. Without access to protein, they are unable to repair damaged cells, and it doesn't take long for their wings to show signs of wear and tear. Apart from eating, the male butterfly has only one thing on his mind, and that's mating. But before he can get to this stage, a variety of territorial and courtship rituals take place. Here, the male seeks to shower the female in pheromones. It's his job to impress. Though it isn't always a pretty affair. Once joined, the pair will copulate for many hours. Connected by the abdomen, the male passes his sperm into the female. She stores the sperm in a special sac. And just before she deposits her eggs on a convenient leaf, she uses a small amount of sperm from the sac to fertilize them. Even though they're fast flyers, butterflies are still in danger from predators. They can run, but they can't easily hide. A butterfly makes an all-too-easy meal for a spider. If they can survive being eaten, death still comes quickly for these beauties. Most live only for several weeks. That means they have a lot of flying and flirting to do in a short time. Then it's up to the tiny caterpillars, scattered across many plants, to begin a new generation, and to continue this most unusual and ultimately beautiful cycle of life.